got you. Let it vibe real quick. Look. The city eyes. It's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga. Cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure. Got that shot in the closet by the mob ball.
We've been teaching you for a long time, since 1969. And what my outline brought out, he was talking about politics. I'm going to talk to y'all today about why we should not abhor, or why we should not listen to this to society, because they already have what they call a government shutdown. You understand? And what's that shutdown? We're going to talk to you about what the shutdown means for poor people, for so-called blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans, and poor white Americans, and poor Ukrainians, everyone else. Our oppressor shows us today that him himself do not agree. They're not on one accord. So why should we follow this society when two people cannot get together to make an agreement about what's better for Americans? You understand? Give me Psalms 101. And I want you to read this article, Barbara Shaw. So we're going to talk about a federal government shutdown. They said if they cannot come in agreement on Friday, by Saturday at midnight, they're going to have a government shutdown. I'm going to pull out this article and show you what this shutdown is. Read that for the article.
This is an article about the 2023 federal government shutdown. Our federal government will shut down at midnight on September 30th, September 30th, 2023.
So right now they're telling that the government's about to have a shutdown because they cannot agree. Keep going.
Because the Republican majority in the U.S. House of Representatives has not passed a full government funding bill.
Let me tell you something. Right now, they're trying to pin you to go against the Republicans. That's what society wants you to do. But what they fail to realize that they're still both oppressors. They try to make you go against the Republicans. What actually happening is that no one has come to agreement. If y'all don't know, the government has a certain amount of time to create a funding for the next upcoming fiscal year. And they're going to decide, well, who gets how much money goes to food stamps, how much money goes to the military. So they're trying to pin you to say that the Republicans cannot come to agreement. But what we know is that our oppressor cares nothing about poor people. Keep going.
Federal government shutdowns cause devastation across the country.
Let me tell you something. Our oppressor knows that if we have a government shutdown, it causes devastation. That means all your federal jobs is going to get cuts. That means all of your food stamps. That means all of your government assistance, your WIC, your food stamps, your Head Start programs, all these government assistance that you're used to getting is going to get temporarily cut off. Why? Because our oppressor does these type of tactics on purpose. The scripture says they create crafty counsels. And I'm going to show you in the scriptures why we should not follow this way of society, because they do these type of things on purpose. A federal government shutdown is what they're supposed to say, here are the funds that we're going to give to people. So let me tell you what's going to happen. When you call your cops, they're going to be showing up. They get paid by the federal government, and they want their money. Keep going.
Hurting working families.
Let me tell you something. When the government shuts down, it hurts working families. So why is this a relevant or important to the Lord's chosen people? Go ahead and go to the book of Psalms. Give me 101. Give me verse 8. Yeah, come on, give me Psalms 101 verse 8. Go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 101, verse 8. I will early destroy all the wicked of the land.
Let me tell you something. Most I say He will utterly destroy all the wicked of the land. And who's the wicked of the land today? Our oppressor is, because he does crafty things by shutting down the government, the way that you cannot get funds for your house, the way you cannot get funds to save your own people, the way you cannot get funds that can help betterment your lifestyle in this wicked empire. And that's why he says the Most High will destroy this land. And that's what I talked about earlier about. He talking about politics. They're all the same. They're all the same. They're two different sides on the same coin. It's no difference from a Democrat to a Republican. They're still government officials that cannot come to agreement to help your people out. You understand? Keep going. We read that.
This is the book of Psalms 101 verse 8. I will easily destroy all the wicked of the land, that I may cut off all wicked doers.
Let me tell you something. Most times he's gonna cut off all wicked doers. That means all your politicians, all your senators. That means all the people you have, your government officials that you have elected. These people, your judges, these people will get cut off because they are evil, wicked doers in this land. And we cannot support evil, wicked doers. Because when you support evil, wicked doers, you have government shutdowns. And for those of y'all who don't know, I got a little more information about what a government shutdown is. Go ahead and read that. What happens with a government shutdown?
What happens during the government shutdown?
And we talking about this because if they had not reached that bill yet, you're gonna suffer the ramifications of what a government shutdown is. That means some of your food stamps will get cut off if you ain't already got them. That means some of your other life assistance that you try to get will get cut off. That means you making phone calls to get help. There's gonna be no one there to answer that phone. Keep going.
If lawmakers fail to enact all or some of the appropriation bills, many government operations grind to a halt.
Meaning like they're gonna stop. Keep going.
Resulting in a full or partial government shutdown until Congress acts. However, government functions that are deemed essential will continue.
That means like when this government shutdowns, only a few can stay employed. Mean like a few cops. Mean like a few FBI agents. Only them so-called few. But your welfare assistance, your WIC, your food stamps, they get shut down immediately. So that means that you ain't got no food to feed your children because the government wants to shut down. And that's why the scripture talk about this evil empire and how they always chose to do evil to the Lord's chosen people. Give me Proverbs 9:29 and 12. And I'm going to keep showing throughout the scriptures how we know back then that we cannot trust our oppressor. Our oppressor cannot be in rulership over the Lord's chosen people. And I'm going to bring out scripture out the scripture to show people that we cannot support this evil empire. We have to separate ourselves from this empire. Proverbs 29 and 12. But when you have a government shutdown, this is what's going to happen. You're going to cause more and more theft. You're going to cause more and more people to steal. You're going to cause more and more murder. You're going to cause more and more fatality amongst individuals. You understand? When you have government shuts down. It's already hard for the Lord's chosen people today. And now you're going to shut down assistance. You're going to force people to go into your jail cells. You're going to force people to live a life of crime, a lifestyle that you have told our people. Let them know where you at.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 12. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants.
Let me tell you, it says if a ruler hearken to lies. Who's the biggest lie on the face of the earth? Our oppressor. Mr. and Mrs. Dwight. Who's a bigger lie than him? Who's a bigger lie than the Edomites, the Troglodytes, the Neanderthals, the Caucasians, the Europeans' descendants? Who's a bigger lie than them? The scripture says if a man hearkens unto lies, that means you listen to lies, that means you tell lies. That means you do lies. That means you lie to your own people. The oppressor knows that it was easy for them to come to an agreement about what's the benefit for America. They chose not to pin you against a certain demographic of Caucasians known as Republicans or a different faction of the government to get you to pin against the Republicans. But in actuality, they both are in disagreement. When they could have easily just said here's the government, here's the fund that we're going to spend on America for this year. How about you cut off that money for the Ukrainians to get to your poor citizens? How about you cut off money and send it to Israel and get to your own military vets? How about you cut off money of take care of everyone else's household and take care of your own household? Our oppressor listens to lies, and therefore he does lies. Keep going.
All his servants are wicked.
Let me tell you something. When you have an evil government, you have evil servants. The American government under democracy is an evil system, and they lie. And who's a bigger liar? Who's a lie that they produce? All your politicians. It don't matter if they Republican, if they Democratic, if they registered under independent, if they say they're religious, if they say they're atheists, if they say it's Scientology. When you have an evil, wicked system in place, i.e. the government, the democracy government, it creates liars because that government is a system of liars, and therefore it would create liars and create destruction. And that's why I brought it in the previous scripture. When you have a wicked ruler of the land, it causes the land to be destitute. It causes the land to be destroyed by itself. And right now, what you're seeing of that is right now it's the government shut shutdown. These are liars that's in rulership, and they're going to shut down the government so that way you cannot get certain funds. It is not hard to come to an agreement before October 1st. For those of you that don't, if you're in the government or work for a state job, they always do the fiscal year by October 1st. That's a new fiscal year for them to say this is how much money we're going to spend for the next upcoming year. They had all of since October 2nd of last year to figure out how much money you're going to spend for the next year. They had all of since October 2nd of last year, 2022, to say this is what we're going to spend money on. And yet and still, they could not come to agreement because what the scriptures say.
If a ruler hearken to lies,
let me tell you something, they hearken unto lies.